Yeah, the farmers are going to be helped greatly because when they're not going to be dumping everything into our country. This will be a great bill for farmers. And in terms of retaliation, if they retaliate, it's, as I said, it's reciprocal. So if they raise it a little bit, then we raise it automatically. So I don't think it helps for them to retaliate. But also remember this, they can't really retaliate because we're the piggy bank. We're the piggy bank. But if we don't do this, we won't be the piggy bank for long. We won't be much of a country.
Mr. President, you see that report, sir, that Hamas was going to stop releasing Israeli hostages, and what was your reaction?
I think it's terrible. Look, I looked at the hostages that came in, and they're emaciated. It looked like something out of the 1930s. It's an absolute disgrace. And I think they saw the way the world viewed it, and they're looking for a reason not to send more because they're all. You take a look at that. It looks like it was a concentration camp, which essentially it was. It looks like they came out of the Holocaust. And what a sad thing. One of them was a young man, good-looking guy, a little bit heavier than perhaps he could have been, and now he looks like he's not even recognizable. Not even recognizable.
Is the ceasefire deal at risk of falling apart?
Look, I can tell you that those people have been badly hurt, both mentally and physically. I'm talking about the young women that came out also previously. And I think one of the reasons they're doing this is because they're probably sending the best. What you see is probably the best because they want to send people that look at least healthy. And that's not healthy. These people have been badly hurt. They've been interviewed by our representatives. They've been interviewed by Israeli representatives, and they're really hurting. They are really hurting mentally and physically. And I think Hamas is looking at that and saying, well, it's not going to get much better than that because they probably send out their best as a representative, and they've got more to send out, and they probably feel that they can't do that because it's not going to make them look very good.
Is the ceasefire delay that, sir? Should the ceasefire then be off?
Well, I would say this, and I'm going to let that because that's Israel's decision, but as far as I'm concerned, if all of the hostages aren't returned by Saturday at 12 o'clock, I think it's an appropriate time. I would say cancel it and all bets are off and let hell break out. I'd say they ought to be returned by 12 o'clock on Saturday, and if they're not returned, all of them, not in drips and drabs, not 2 and 1 and 3 and 4 and 2. Saturday at 12 o'clock, and after that, I would say all hell is going to break out. And I don't think they're going to do it. I think a lot of them are dead. I think a lot of the hostages are dead. I think it's a great human tragedy what's happened, how people can be that mean to do. I mean, the one guy was laughing when a hostage he thought his family was alive, found out the family was dead, and his captor, so to speak, started laughing because he thought it was so funny. You know, this is a different group of people. No, I would say Saturday at 12, we want them all back. I'm speaking for myself. Israel can override it. But from myself, Saturday at 12 o'clock, and if they're not here, all hell is going to break out.
Mr. President, in an interview this weekend, you said that Palestinians would not be guaranteed the right to return to Gaza if the U.S. were to develop it. What did you mean by that?
We've spoken to a lot of Palestinians. They would love to leave Gaza if they could find a place to be. And I've spoken to various leaders of various countries in the not so distant area from where we're talking about, the Gaza Strip. And I think they were very positive about providing land. What we need is land. And if we could build a nice place for people to live safely, everybody in Gaza would do it. They've been persecuted. They've been spit on. They've been treated like trash. And they would love to get out of Gaza. But until now, they never had an alternative. Now they have an alternative. And As far as Hamas is concerned, you're seeing the real Hamas now with the hostages.
Mr. President,
what if they-
Yeah.
on Gaza, you have the...
Who are you, from where?
The Wall Street Journal, sir.
Yeah, that's what I
The Jordanian leader is coming in to see you.
Yeah.
Folks in Jordan have expressed
Tomorrow.
opposition to taking in more Gazans, more Palestinians. How are you going to convince him to do otherwise?
I think he'll take. I mean, I do think he'll take, and I think other countries will take also. They have good hearts. I think they'll take.
But what about the Palestinians who just won't leave? Our team has spoken to many in
They're
Gaza.
all going to leave when they have a place that's a better alternative. When they have a nice place that's safe, they're all going to leave. It's a hellhole right now.
But how are you so sure? Would the U.S. force them to leave?
You're going to see that they're all going to want to leave.
Mr. President, when it comes to Saturday noon, there's an American hostage who's still being held by Hamas right now. Are you worried about
Look, you know, who knows? Are they alive? Are they not alive? But I saw the condition. When I saw the condition of the last ones that came out, and the women too, everybody. The one woman had her hand blown off because she was trying to stop a bullet being fired at her, okay? What kind of a situation is that? You saw her. I just think it's time to either you release everybody. They're not going to be alive right now, based on what I saw over the last 2 days. They're not going to be alive for long. Saturday at 12 o'clock, and after that, it's going to be a different ballgame.
Mr. President, when you say all hell is going to break loose, are you speaking about retaliation from
You'll
Israel?
find out, and they'll find out too. Hamas will find out what I mean.
Mr. President,
They're going to find out what I mean. These are sick people, and they'll find out what I mean Saturday at 12 o'clock.
But no involvement
How
with
about
the U.S.
Palestinians from the West Bank? Are they going to be relocated too? What's your
Well,
position
right
on the
now,
West
no.
Bank?
Right now, they're there, and I assume they want to remain there. It's different. They're there. It's never been like what we're talking about with the Gaza Strip.
So they're going to continue there? You have
No, I have no plans there.
Mr. President, regarding the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, Democrats, including Elizabeth Warren, have said that by freezing it, it's giving big banks and giant corporations the green light to scam
Yeah,
families. Your response?
Pocahontas, the faker. You know, that was set up to destroy people. She used that as her little personal agency to go around and destroy people. And she's a fake. Just like she said she was an Indian, and she wasn't an Indian. You have more Indian blood in you than she has. She went to college based on the fact that she was an Indian. She got jobs based on the fact that she was an Indian. She's a fake. That was set up to destroy some very good people, and it worked. I mean, it worked. A lot of great people. I'll tell you, before I ever heard the term, people would come up to me in the Midwest and areas and say, "Sir, I'm being destroyed by them." They use that to destroy people. She's a nasty woman. She's a really nasty woman, despite her phony beer commercial. We did the right thing. That was a very important thing to get rid of. And it was also a waste. I mean, number one, it was a bad group of people running it, but it was also a waste. If you looked at when she really ran it, wow, that was a vicious group of people. They really destroyed a lot of people.
And you can confirm it's your goal is to have it totally eliminated,
I
the
would
agency?
say, yeah, because we're trying to get rid of waste, fraud, and abuse.
What's next?
And didn't I hear that somebody made like $38 million or something running a little agency? What was her name? What was her name? And what did she do? And what was that all about? All the money that she made? Does anybody know?
Are you gonna talk
Yeah,
to
Brian,
us?
go
Are you
ahead.
gonna talk?
Good to see you. The latest CBS poll has your approval ratings at an all-time high, despite all these controversial subjects and executive orders that you're doing. I want to get your thoughts on that, how you've really connected to mainstream America.
Yeah, I have high approval ratings because I'm using common sense, whether it's getting men out of women's sports. I mean, have you seen what goes on with the boxers and with the weightlifters and with the swimmers and everything? It's so ridiculous. And I think it's a 90% issue. And, the amazing thing, the Democrats are still fighting for it. It's crazy. It's crazy. I think we should go to Congress also, have that cemented and, make it indelible. But it's, to me, it's all common sense. Who wants an open border where prisons are dumped into our country, where prisoners are led into our country, many of whom are murderers? many of whom murdered far more than one person. And they're now roaming our country. Who wants that? I mean, it's terrible. Steve, I'd like you to say a couple of words about it.
Yes, well, as you know, Mr. President, since you issued your day one executive orders, border crossings are down approximately 95%. You talk to agents on the line. In their entire careers, they've never seen crossing days as low as what they're experiencing right now. The cartels, in fact, are enormously frustrated because they've never seen a clampdown like this before in American history. There are people who were working at Border Patrol back when it was at INS in the 80s and 90s. They've never seen a day like this. That's because you've mobilized the 10th Mounted Division, the Marines, the entire U.S. military. They're erecting physical miles of barrier, temporary and ultimately permanent, every single day. You have all of your border agents pushed to the front line. They're not doing the humanitarian processing, quote unquote, that Biden was doing. They're doing law enforcement and national security. They're interdicting weapons and drugs. They're interdicting violent, high-threat criminals. And the U.S. military is repatriating illegal immigrants at a pace and a skill that has never occurred before in American history. And those who are committing human trafficking and child trafficking are being prosecuted for felony offenses, and they'll be doing hard time in jail. There's never been a lockdown like what you have implemented through your orders and vision since you took the oath of office.
What's your thoughts on DOGE? Wednesday at 10 a.m. they're having the first subcommittee to focus on the fraud and Medicare.
Yeah, before I discuss that, I just want to add to what Steve said. And we want people to come into our country, but we want them to come in legally. They have to go through a process. And we have to know that they haven't killed 9 people, or they haven't killed, like in one case, five people. And they're out on the loose, and we're all looking for that particular individual. This was all led in by Biden and the group of stupid people. Bad people and stupid people. Some are bad, some are stupid, some are both. But I'll tell you what they've done to this country. But we're cleaning it up. And hard to believe I can say it. It'll be better than ever before. But we have a lot of bad people we have to get at. We're searching out for a lot of them. I think Tom Holman and Christie are doing an unbelievable job. Christie Noem. They're doing an unbelievable job. They're taking out massive numbers of people. And you notice every country is accepting those people back. Remember, everyone said, oh, they'll never accept them. They're all taking them back. They have to. They're all taking them back. Every single country is taking them back. I don't know if they want them or not. I don't imagine they do, but they're taking them back.
Are you going to talk to Zelensky this
Mr.
week?
President, back on Gaza, you talked with Fox News about the billions of dollars we pay for Jordan and Egypt every year. Would you withhold aid to these countries if they don't agree to take in the Palestinians?
Yeah, maybe. Sure. Why not? You mean if they don't agree? If they don't agree, I would conceivably withhold aid. Yeah.
Are you going to talk to Prime Minister Netanyahu about the Saturday deadline?
Sure. I mean, it's just my deadline, but
Yes,
they may change it. But I think it's. I've seen too many people come out. They look like Holocaust victims from many years ago. I've never seen anything like it. I didn't think this could happen in this world today. You know, we think we have a civilized world. It's not civil. These are bad people we're dealing with. So that would be my suggestion. And he can open it up or not open it up, but that would be my. Do you have anything to say about that? Your commerce, but you have a lot to say from the standpoint of your faith and your religion. Go ahead.
So it's amazing that 4 years of nothing, and then you come in and you immediately start to move the needle. You have hostages coming out. You send Steve Witkoff, who's done an amazing job for you. You're changing the Middle East. You're supporting your ally, Israel. And I, for one, can't be more impressed with the outcomes that you have driven. And choosing this Saturday to save people's lives or just be done with it seems like just the right choice.
But I think it's time to come up with a date. What are we going to do? Keep every week 2 people, 3 people? No, I don't think you can do that anymore. These are very seriously endangered people. These are endangered people. I don't think they're going to last very long.
Mr. President,
You know, the people that came out yesterday, they wouldn't last very long.
Were you ruling out any U.S. involvement in whatever happens after this deadline?
We'll see what happens. We'll just see what
Will
happens.
you talk with Zelensky this week, sir?
Yeah, probably.
By telephone, what's your
He
message?
wants to make a deal. Let's see. We'll see. We're dealing with him, and I think they both want to make a deal, but we'll have to see. It's got to be done.
What is Zelensky going to
Would have never happened if I were president. This would never have happened. Millions of people are dead.
What will Zelensky have to give up, if anything?
We'll talk about that later
Your,
because
your reaction to a judge today continuing a pause on the buyout program for federal workers?
well, I don't know how you can lose a case like that. We're talking about people, everybody. I got elected on making government better, more efficient, and smaller. And that's what we're doing. And I think it was a very generous buyout, actually. Also, if people don't show up to work, we have a right to fire them. And they have an option. They can show up to work or not. If they don't want to show up to work, then let them work. Because then the next step is, have you worked before? Have you worked during this time that you're supposed to be working? You'll find many of those people, in my opinion, have had other jobs, even though they're collecting money from the federal government. Many have had, in my opinion, other jobs.
If the
And
buyouts
if they did, that's a big problem.
if the buyouts are blocked in court, will you instead pursue layoffs in federal departments?
I don't know how they can do. This is free will. This is a buyout where people, they were offered a good deal. Many people have taken that, as you know. But, many of those people, and we talk about reporting to work, right? I happen to be a believer that you have to go to work. I don't think you can work from a home. I don't know. It's like there's a whole big, you can work from home. Nobody's going to work from home. They're going to be going out. They're going to play tennis. They're going to play golf. They're going to do a lot of things. They're not working. It's a rare person that's going to work. You might work 10% of the time, maybe 20%. I don't think you're going to work a lot more than that. Then I think they have an obligation to work. And they have an obligation not to have a second job when they're supposed to be working for the federal government. You're going to find that a lot of these people had second jobs. Instead of working they'll be collecting a federal government check, and they'll be working 2 jobs. And that's big trouble for them.
You've said a lot about Congress.
You've said a lot about South Africa in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It's hosting the G20 summit this year. Are you planning to attend this, or are you skipping it and telling your cabinet to not?
Well, we'll see what happens. But the South African situation is very, very dangerous and very bad for a lot of people. There's tremendously bad things going on, including the confiscation of property, and worse, much worse than that. You know what I'm talking about. And we're not making any payment until we find out what's going on in South Africa. Yes,
What's
please.
next for Dylan?
General Kellogg going to Ukraine this week, sir, or soon?
Yeah, he is. Keith Kellogg. General Kellogg is an excellent guy, and he's spending time doing various things. We have numerous people working on numerous different problems. When I left office, wasn't long ago, a little more than 4 years ago, we had no wars, we didn't have problems. Now we got the whole world is blowing up, but we'll put out the fires.
You've been talking to Vladimir Putin. Are you trying to set up a meeting with him?
Well, I can't tell you what I'm talking about, but we are talking as a group also. I think he'd like to make a deal, but it takes 2 to tango.
And so, you can't give us any more clarity on whether you personally have spoken to.
I don't want to talk about it. No, I don't want to talk about it. It's not going to help you to know. But we would like to get a deal done if possible, only because, in my case, save lives. We're much further away. Remember, we have an ocean separating. They don't. Europe should be paying what we're paying. And Europe has done it more in the form of a loan than with us. We just give it. Biden gives it because he's not a smart individual, not a very smart individual. We have people over there today who are making a deal that as we give money, we get minerals and we get oil and we get all sorts of things, because why are we doing this? And all this money, we're in for maybe 350 billion and Europe's in for 100 billion. And Europe's in really as a form of a loan. In theory, they get that money back. In theory, they get interest on their money. It's a whole different ballgame. And Biden is the one that started doing this. Every time Zelensky came here, he walked away with $60 to $100 billion. I think he's one of the greatest salesmen who have ever lived, by the way.
Can you discuss your intentions with the Kennedy Center, which you're now board chair of?
So we took over the Kennedy Center. We didn't like what they were showing and various other things. And I had a lot of the board members already, as you know, and we have some that will be replaced. But we have, I guess, a whole new group of people going in. I have Rick Grinnell, who's got some experience in that world. He's very good. going to be handling it on a temporary basis. I think he'll do a great job, but we're going to get some great professionals. I'm going to be chairman of it, and we're going to make sure that it's good and it's not going to be woke. There's no more woke in this country. This woke has cost us a fortune and cost us our reputation, but the reputation's coming back very, very rapidly. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
The penny, guys.
The penny is gone.
No, penny's gone. Is the nickel next?
What about the dime?
What about anything? Good luck. The penny is gone.
Your message to
The penny